truly, truly honored to have you, Jason. You have an extensive history and background in the space, which I'm excited to talk about. Love the project. I've been in it for a while. I think it's doing good stuff. Beyond that, it's one of the few projects that absolutely hasn't shit the bed. There's something to be said for that.
Oh, so that those are very few to come by these days. Let's be honest.
Without a doubt. Jason, I was reading your bio a little bit. And I wanted to just kind of dive into that before we jump forward. You were in finance, you were in management, you were in sales. Like, what did that look like before you kind of dove into DeFi and crypto and all of that?
I started out straight out of school, actually going to work as a consultant, first service-wise, for about 2-3 months, right, for an insurance company. And immediately they told me that, because basically there was an incentive structure, right? So here you're talking to people that are existing clients, where they come on and want to change their address or do this, offer them something. And then within the first 2-3 months, I broke the record of upselling, if you want to call it that. And then they told me, okay, you're going to sales. And from there, I did pretty well. And they made me manager. I had my own team. So it's pretty much from always been insurance, finance, that's one of the sort of game. And using obviously that where the money flowed, it was quite nice to, get a grip on obviously where that came. But as we got bigger in the industry and more important roles and bigger opportunity, you start working with bigger money and you see how money gets moved around. You start working with banks a lot as well and how the banking system works. When the banking system came about and we were using it quite often, you see how big crypto is, a potential for it and what it could do for obviously a lot of people. So that the background that I have, fortunately, was amazing to set me up for where I want to be, specifically because knowing the people, still having the connections to these banks. I mean, I've got friends that have been in the industry for 20 years that are still there, and they're telling me how they've, laid off 50% of the staff in the Swift industry. And that's the Swift banking system we're using today. People don't realize it. The stuff isn't getting out. The Swift system isn't telling people. This is just one company that has over 4,000 employees, 2,000 employees gone within 3 months because they're getting ready to using blockchain technology. People don't see what's coming. So it's been interesting, coming from that background, knowing a lot of what I know. And I've used that, very effectively to what we're doing.
I always tell people that industries like banking are a little bit like a hot dog. Like once you know how it's made and like once you know how they produce it, like you don't want to eat hot dogs anymore. It's just one of those things where being involved in it and seeing the inside of it, you either love it or it completely sickens you. But I have heard nothing from bankers that are just terrified of what's coming because they either don't understand it or they do understand it and they see that they're going to be irrelevant very, very quickly.
I'm always open. I play devil's advocate to everything in life. So I hate it, but I also love it. I hate it for the fact of what it's going to be doing to the world. We all know what CBDCs are going to be doing to the world, and they are coming, whether we like it. But at the same time, instead of always being the negative Nancy, stay positive. Learn, okay, I hate it because this is what they're going to be doing with it. But now that I've got the information before 99% of the world, what can I do with that information to help myself? And that's where I always play devil's advocate, because there's pros and cons to everything. So if you can use the information at your disposal ahead of time, you can use that to make money. I love making money. First and foremost, it's amazing being there, done that, got the t-shirt. But at the end of the day, now we're at a point where you can hate so many things in life. But if you're not going to use the information given to you, you're not learning, you're not progressing. So like I said, I'm both sides. I love it and hate it. I love it because I know what to do with the information to better success, for my family and move forward in life. But at the same time, I understand what's coming, so I can get ahead of it.
Most people don't think like that, and that's probably why most people are completely broke. I think there's something to be said for that. Dude, where did you hear about crypto? I mean, was it in the banking industry or like in that space or what?
Like, I was fortunate as well to be a jack of all trades, but a master of none. Being a kid, I was very sporty, but I was also a nerd. I hanged out with the sodas. I hanged out with the golf kits. I hanged out with the job, so I was the chess captain, but I was also the rugby captain. So it's like, I was always everywhere. I was one of those very social kids that I just wanted to do everything. Having said that, I was a gamer as well. So, being around the gaming industry, and that's why we still believe in crypto, the gaming part of crypto is still going to be huge, I believe, in the next year. A lot of these gaming projects are going to do really, really well. It's going to bring a lot of people over. The start of the bull run, I think, is going to be big in gaming. Gaming is going to be a huge aspect of adoption in the next. But that's where I picked up from it, though on the obviously PCs and being through all this technology, you in so many different forums talking about technology. This is how I picked up on it. And I mean, I've been in crypto for 8 years. I wouldn't say I focused on it as much as I did back in the old days. I didn't focus it at all. People told me about Bitcoin 8 years ago. I was like, yeah, then I dabbled, for like a month, got in, got out. okay, cool. It's cool, but it's not doing much, you know? And then I didn't even look afterwards. I wasn't keeping track of it. And then, you know, you look at it a year later and I've been like, well, if I just stayed in it for an extra year, then you're like, okay, sure. That was a loss. I should have stayed in. Only 2 years go by again. And then you're like, okay, I really should have stayed. What am I doing here? And then I started to take notice, you know, a little bit more. So I would say about 4 years ago, I really started paying attention to crypto and learning, obviously, everything that I could. And then about 2 years ago, I started, obviously, bringing up my own project, started, obviously, you know, getting into the realm of DeFi, you know, working on it as much as I could, getting part of it, becoming, you know, part of other projects, just wanting to learn. And, you know, from there, that's when I grew a lot in terms of what DeFi meant and what it needed from all aspects, community, safety, everything. And that's been a key point to me is actually, you know, having the conviction of understanding what crypto is, what it's doing in the larger picture, but then DeFi is a whole different ballgame. And people sometimes don't understand that. And people get into crypto, they hear about DeFi, and then they leave crypto because of DeFi, where it's actually two different things. And that's something that I love educating people about. But crypto is great. You know, buy some blue chips, hold them for the next 5 years, you're going to make good profit. Right? If you buy XRP right now, I can tell you, you'll 10x your money in the next 2 years. Not financial advice. That's an easy, safe prediction, right? And I know because I hold $1 million worth of XRP. So just in case anybody doesn't want to like back up what I'm saying, like at the end of the day, I believe that's one of my big coins. I love the ISO 2022 coins. I love them. I think they're going to obviously be part of the next financial system with one or two others. But then you get to DeFi and it's like, okay, I get people are using DeFi to use the technology. And a lot of people don't understand the technology. And that's why I went into DeFi because it's so interesting. What we can do with it solves so many problems in so many different industries that there's a lot of people using it in bad ways. And that's
But why don't you explain the difference? I mean, we've got people that are brand new that literally joined yesterday, and we've got people like you that have been in this for a long time. Just explain the difference there for anybody that just doesn't get it.
So let's put it this way, right? Crypto and the tokens are more of a key. And DeFi is actually getting towards the back end of the house. You know, what's actually happening in this house? People don't understand the technology behind it. Anybody can go on to Google and type something in, what does this do? And it tells what is the back end technology, right? And that's what obviously DeFi is trying to utilize. But there's so many people here just to make quick projects for nothing. They've got no utility. I mean, you've got one project doing this, one another. They're all promising you this, like nobody's actually building real technology. I would even say Warfi as well. Warfi, yes, it's one of the best DeFi projects out there because it's actually generating real benefit, but it's not doing anything, right? In terms of the bigger picture, like one or two of my other projects are doing. It's there to help people. And that we saw DeFi going to a stage of every 1 in 100 DeFi projects are actually trying to do something good for the space and try and revolutionize the technology. Everybody else is just trying to create a quick project to bring in some money. And that's what it is. So when we thought of Warfi was more of a, let's actually bring out a project that can compete with all these people chasing people away from us. Because everybody comes in, they lose money, they leave. So let's create them a space where they actually are making decent money, that they would stay in the space and learn and educate themselves. But it's not doing anything for the industry. It's not revolutionizing the next big technical advance in blockchain technology. That's what I'm talking about. Warfi is not even part of it. What we're doing in the back end or other stuff that we're currently doing is actually trying to utilize the technology to use it in revolutionary ways to make the internet fast. Do this. We're building a blockchain-based cell phone, right? That can literally, let me give an example, all right? Everybody's using their cell phones. They store their stuff on iCloud or the cloud or whatever you store your thing if you're using an iPhone or a Samsung. Samsung and iPhone, the companies, can actually see all the information that you think is safely stored. That's supposed to be your safe storage that nobody else can see. They can see it. So at the end of the day, it's not as safe as you think. Blockchain technology is there to create the same sort of thing, but not even the creators of what we're building can see inside what you're sharing. It's like the closed network of Bitcoin. Bitcoin, a lot of people don't understand Bitcoin to its true core and vision. But at the end of the day, there's so much more to the technology that people don't get. But that's like useless information. It's like 99% of the world doesn't need to know how the banking system works. They understand one or two key points and like, hey, it holds my money, I can spend my money, whatever. They don't care. They don't need to. So for the actors in the space, we're trying to obviously develop new things that will revolutionize because we want to take on the iPhones, the Samsung, the Teslas. We want to be something. We want to create something that will obviously leave a footprint. We're past the point of just trying to make money, trying to create a name, create obviously the legacy for ourselves. That's what we are. But it's so interesting when you talk about the actual technology about it because I can ramble for hours, but people are going to get bored. It's like you don't need to know how coding works on a website to know that if I click on that button, it's going to redirect to 3 different sites and do this and do that. People don't want to know that. They just want to know it works. We're trying to utilize the technology to make things better.
But Couple things that you mentioned that I think are worth diving into. The first one, and I don't even know who said it, but like all of the companies that are like changing the world are trying to solve problems that some people don't even know exist. So like even Tesla, you mentioned Tesla, like these guys are trying, like Elon is trying to do things that no one else has ever done. He's looking at the macro and saying, what problems can I actually solve? I think Bitcoin was founded on that idea. I think probably there's a lot of projects that are attempting to do that, which is phenomenal. And those are the game changers. Those are the people, those are the companies and the ideas that literally change the world. I think that's huge, man. And then the other thing being like, I probably know roughly 1,000,000,000% less than Jason does. Like Jason said, he can go on about this for hours. I've got 15 minutes. I'm gonna run out of stuff to say. But I realize, and I think a lot of people realize, hey, there's a tool out here that can get me everything that I want within the time frame that I want, and it's powerful. And it does stuff that I don't even fucking understand, but I can use this tool. And even though I don't fully understand exactly how it's built, I understand what the tool can do for me. And to me, that is DeFi. That is crypto. That is the technology.
Put it in a better way that challenges people's mind. All your banks, right? Everybody has a bank account that's probably listening to this right now. Okay. Your bank's charging you 1% per month to do audio banking. And you're like, okay, I need a bank account. I've opened a bank account from the age of 18. I've got a bank account. That's what the bank charges everybody. So everybody's used. Why? They just put that random number. Why do they get 1% of all your money? Why does the government now take 7%, 10%? If you're a high earner, up to 40% of your money. Why? That is what we're solving in the background and people don't even realize. If you look at, I'm trying to send money from South Africa, where I am now, to America, there's cross-border payments. It's got to wait 4 days to get, and it charges 5%. Because of obviously changing foreign currencies, what. I just sent $2 million worth of USD using, the XRP network. It cost me 30 cents and it arrived there in 7 seconds. 7 seconds compared to 7 days, and compared to paying 5%. I paid 30 cents to send $2 million. People don't realize this yet. And companies are starting to leverage stuff like this to save on their expenses because they've been buying, hey, I need $2 million worth of oil. I need $10 million worth of metal because I'm doing this. They've had to just accept up till now, okay, I'm paying 5% to get my dollars into yuan, Chinese yuan, so I can buy the Chinese, obviously, stuff that I'm trying to import. And they've just accepted that's what I've got to pay. That's what we're doing in the background. Slowly trying to revolutionize the way, obviously, money can be sent like a text message, and to actually make it as simple as that. That's what the crypto industry at large, which is not actually, crypto is just what it's been named. It's blockchain.
These companies are saving millions, if not billions of dollars because of a simple solution that somebody had the balls to think of and dream up. Like 5%, I mean, even if it's 1%, like that adds up. Like that savings can hire you an entire development department or an entire sales department. Like it is a big deal.
Thinking about big companies that's now sending $100 million to somebody, even 1%, they've just lost $1 million. Think about that. Anybody here, would look at $1 million and be like, that's $1 million, right? And they're just accepting that. What if I saved $1 million? That could be the next marketing campaign for the next year. People don't understand because that $1 million, you're just thinking of that as $1 million. Over the next 10 years, that $1 million could be worth 10 million. It could have a value you can't even put towards it because it could be used for something so important it could get your next break. And people need to see every single dollar that they spend in the same way. This dollar that I'm wasting on chocolate, right, might only be worth $1 to me right now, but if I use it in a different way, it could be worth 10 billion. People need to understand the money that they've worked hard for can be worth so much more getting used the right way. And that's why I try to educate people as much as I can to use their money. And that's just, something that I like to preach because of, people just accept everything these days. You accept you have to pay this, you have to pay these levies, you don't have to take vaccines, you don't have to do anything that anybody wants you to do. But at the end of the day, it's just that's arguments we shouldn't be getting into. But yeah.
No, it sounds like we're talking about vaccines, man. Like, let's get into it. Let's get into it. I was going to say, like, on the flip side, the reason why the entire industry is so fought against and so hated by so many people and even so misunderstood is because there's entire industries, like you hinted at, that are going to go out of business if crypto continues to succeed. If it exceeds to the level that we believe it will be, banks are screwed. Okay, my gosh, like that, some of the richest people.
Exactly. And that's the thing. But there's too many high-powered people. If we're saving that million, we're taking that million away from somebody that would have gave it. And that person is going to flip, right? And that's why I'm glad you said it just now. Some people have the balls to challenge. right? And that's the thing, because that's why it's taken crypto so long to even get noticed, because they all saw this coming years ago and they tried to play it down. The money, these 5%, 10% deals that people are making, all that money, and that's running into billions that is going to go back to the people that deserve it. And the banks and the people, the top elites that run the world, are going to be losing out on that money, and they don't want to. So they've been snaring campaigns against crypto, so they will continue doing it. But that's how we know we are on the right track. Look at that.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I mean, and if people started to realize, like, dude, I can make a couple percent a day or whatever it might be. I mean, like, I've been blown away. I've been trading a lot more. I know that you trade as well, but like, I've been trading a lot more, and I'm like, it takes people in real estate, and I love real estate. I'll always invest in real estate, but people in real estate think 9% is phenomenal a year. It's like, if people understood the power of these tools in this industry, I think investment would radically shift. I think it already is radically shifting, but it's just wild, man. But
I don't understand that they could be doing, I mean, we've been doing almost the same as the retail market a month, not a year.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that now. So yeah, maybe it's
talk about Warfi, man. Like, we've had multiple conversations about it. I've been involved in the project. I know our team is involved in the project. For anybody that's just completely unaware, what is it? We talked a little bit about kind of how you created it, but let's start there. Like, why did you create it? You're a smart guy. You have a lot of experience. You could do anything in the world. Why create Warfi?
So Warfi was originally created, like I was saying earlier, to give people a safe haven in the DeFi. Right? Everybody eventually finds out about these games of DeFi. Crypto itself, has massive pumps. The bull runs, everybody loves the bull runs, but everybody hates the bear markets. And the bear markets is generally where people go to DeFi. DeFi has a lot of potential because people are looking to invest into blockchain technology. And at the end of the day, like I said, 90% of the projects you don't want to be in, but there's one or two people that's why we came up with this, to create good solutions that keeps these people in the market. Because what do we ultimately want to do? We want to drive adoption of crypto, right? Because that'll obviously take away from the elites, and it'll sprinkle out a little bit more that there's not this, the rich get richer, the poor keep getting poorer. Middle classes eventually becoming poorer. That's just how it is. It's just going to be like this at the end of the day, and that's the end. So what this is doing is it's helping the average person use investment to their benefit and use these tools that we've created to help them, invest and, try and get returns on the actual investment that's at a rate that is better than what the government allows. Government always wants to keep us in a box, and that's just how it is. So we created it, first of all, to keep people into DeFi. So we wanted to give people a space of, hey, we're not promising 100% a month like some of these projects that are just outrageous, right? I mean, if you're used to real estate and somebody tells you, hey, you're going to get 50% a month, you just could be like, no, it's unrealistic, It's just, but people fall for this stuff. So we try to create the best thing we possibly could to give people great returns. Like I said, we've been doing on average 8% a month for the last 19 months. So that's basically what the retail market can give you, but in a month, not in a year. If you've been with us for 18 months, it was like you're in the real estate game for 18 years. That's essentially what we've given people on a monthly basis. And we've done this because we want to give people a place that is safe, that'll also stop people leaving blockchain crypto. We want this innovation to get out there because it's challenging the world and how it works, and it'll eventually lead to so much better. Yes, it can be also make a lot more processes easier as well. And the government is trying to use it as well to still keep us in a box. They are. But I mean, there's ways that we can finally have the tools to not be controlled as much. And that's what we try. Create a place that is not going to allow these people to leave, and for the word to get out there, that, hey, crypto is good if used by the correct people.
Was it more difficult than you thought creating your own project?
No.
Or not really? No.
The thing is, like, to be honest with you, I'm going to be very simple. There was a lot of good actors in the space that try to do what we're doing, but we're too greedy. I've seen 90% of good people just be too greedy. Like you're saying, they hear of these projects doing 50% a month, and they're just like, it's stupid. Like, why? They're putting too much risk. Like, we understood risk through. And you're coming from a person that was in the financial game and used to real estate. I was happy with 10% a year. Now you're telling me, I'm not going to be happy with 10% a month. Like, why wouldn't I be happy with that? That's amazing. And if it's safe, I'm loving it. Now, I'm not going to be greedy and try and push for 12, 15, 20, 50% a month. It's just greedy. And eventually that risk to reward ratio, nobody ever follows it, and they eventually get greedy, and it's their downfall. And that's been the key thing about, Warfi. We've really, at first and foremost, we've kept people's money, because that's what I want to do with money. I've worked hard for every single dime that I've ever made. I'm not going to see that go away. So I would rather make no profits in a month than try and push for 1 month getting 20% and the next month potentially losing everything, because that's the risk to reward ratio. I can't accept that. So I would rather give people constant returns on a monthly basis that are not putting their money at risk. That's what's, our motto at why we've done so well, and why, just given enough time, all these other projects have eventually died.
Almost all of them. It's phenomenal. Even recently, some of the other bot projects, and it's fun to watch, but it's terrifying.
Like you mentioned recently, like even iBots, I don't mean to say names. The only reason I say that is because they were good guys. They're not bad actors. There's so many scanners in this place, and they weren't one of them. They were good actors. But at the end of the day, your risk to reward ratio is very important. And if you, for example, are chasing 7% a month, all right, and now you only get 5 this month, don't now want to try and make up for it. And now, put yourself more at risk to try and chase a number. You never chase the number. If the volume in the market is allowing you to get 5% this month, thank you. I'll take my 5%. I appreciate it. See you next month. Next month, I made 9%. Great. Next month, I only made 3%. Great. You're making money while not risking your funds. And a lot of other projects chased numbers that they promised their investors, and that's a bad recipe. It's a recipe for disaster. It just is.
And most of those investors have no idea anything about the project, anything about investing, bots, the market, like you name it. Most of these guys that just do this and squawk in Discord groups, oh man, like we wish we got more money, or we wish you guys would do better. They have no clue. They have no clue what they're talking about. But to the wrong person or to the wrong project, maybe, like now they start to feel this pressure, and they're like, oh my gosh, like I've got to make up for it, or I've got to do this or that. But you said something really, really key. The game is to not blow your account. The game is to not lose all your money. And even if that means you only make 2% in a month, or even if you just break even, you are so much farther ahead than a company or a platform that does really, really good for 3 months, then it's gone.
100%. 100%. People don't realize that if you can make even 2-3% a month, if you know how to use that money, you're a millionaire within 5 to 10 years. You're a millionaire generational. So these people that are promising you 100% a month, just outrageous, and you will eventually lose your money. But at the end of the day, if you play smart with your money and you know what you're doing with it, understand compounding is the 7th wonder of the world. And we've just created something that is a very happy community. They're happy because they've come from all these projects that run, and we've given them a safe space. And at the end of the day, we're slowly starting to get that education back, because they were all used to this chasing his 100% a month. My one friend who was in it for 6 months, and he tripled his money and he actually got out in time. I want that as well. And everybody was used to that. We saw that the culture in DeFi was everybody was chasing these massive gains, and it's just not sustainable for long term. It isn't. So each new person coming in wanted to do what the one person that won, the other 90% failed, but the 10%, kept bringing in the more people. But those people eventually left, like the other 90%. We try to create a place where 90% stay, up to 100% would stay, because that's what we were trying. But we had to educate people to like, hey, stop trying to get 100% a month. It's not sustainable. You might do it 1 month and then lose all your money the next. Rather create somewhere where you can work and obviously make sure your money is not at risk. And I say that about life. Whatever industry you're in, right? Whatever you plan to invest in, whatever you do, yes, a lot of people say do your own research, but still people don't. So in these things, I like to obviously do it for them and tell them obviously what to expect. And that's why I do it.
So this has been, Jason, and like we've talked about this before, but like this has been my biggest qualm in this space, and like really why 1971 exists is like it's building better businesses and creating better investors. 99% of the people out there that are in this space are not actual business owners. They're not actual investors either. They're just not. They have no idea. They heard about it, playing PlayStation, and they just thought that they would make all of this money. Well, if you're going to be around as long as Warfi's been around, if you're going to be around even just for a year in this space, you're going to have to learn how to be, number one, a business owner, number two, how to control your emotions, and number three, how to become a better investor. But we see this all of the time with these people that are jumping in. I know of people that jumped in and put 100K into a project, like literally lost it days later. They're like, oh my gosh, this space it's all a scam. It's got to be a scam. No, you're just an idiot. You're just doing stupid shit and like expecting to win because you read a blog on the internet. That's not how it works, man.
That's why that's so good. I'll step back on that. I want to touch on that because you know what? It's the same as buying anything. If I buy this, it's in my hand. Nothing can happen to it. What's so dangerous about the internet is you're sending money to somebody and you don't know what's happening. You've got something on your screen saying, here's $100,000. Where is that money? It's not there. It's not in your hand. So it's always taking a risk. And I love real estate. And I use real estate to back everything I do. So yes, I love crypto and I will always be in crypto. But at the end of the day, all my profits go into real estate because it's hard, tangible. Yeah, I got it. It's mine. That's it. I'm sitting on my property right now with my name paid off. Nobody could just come and scam me from it on an internet saying, bye, your account is now zero. So real estate is amazing. And I've backed up all my businesses with real estate. I will keep, buying real estate and backing it because that's what I know is a true backing. And no matter what, the actual property that I own, not even the building, the actual land is so valuable. And I believe in hedging everything against property because, the actual property and land itself that I'm buying is always going to go up in price because just that's how the world works, supply and demand. And the more of us are on this planet, the more ground that's going to be needed, and eventually the more and more space is going to be needed, and that's just how it is. It's why gold's done what it's done.
You can't make more land. There's a finite amount of it. I mean, pretty smart, man. I think that was probably one of the first things that we really connected on was using physical, tangible assets in conjunction with some of like the digital stuff. Like that's what makes sense. So like with my background, dude, so we got 10,000 students on the real estate side, a couple hundred people on the alternative side. It's like these worlds can play together. You can make good money in alternative and then back it with physical. I mean, like you go vice versa. Like there's so many different options if you have the information and the knowledge to actually go out and take action on it, which I think is cool, man. You mentioned compounding with Warfi. Again, a lot of people just don't understand that. Like they think if I make 2% this month, 2% next month, etc. They look at it so linear, not taking into account like the compounding. And that really is the growth. Like he said, look, you can be a millionaire in X amount of years. You can, if you understand what you're looking at and understanding how to actually play a money game, not just pushing buttons on a computer. So do you find that most people kind of get it? Like on Warfi, like, hey, you can compound and like, hey, this is what it would look like if you did do this over a period of time. Like, are people understanding that or no?
I think the main reason people don't like compounding sometimes is because they're used to the space being so hot and cold, so volatile. What shows off a great project is 79% of all our investors are compound. That shows firstly how great we're doing as a project, the safe name we've built up. People trust us and what we're doing. And they understand what compounding can do. And at the end of the day, $10, making $10 every month, you could use that $10 or you could reinvest it. And people don't understand how great compounding can be, but you have to find the right space to do it that your money is safe. I do believe, obviously, in compounding. I've been doing it for years, but I've also been knowledgeable where to do it. That's what's so key and why I say it's so hard to find the right places. But once you've found them, once you've done your research, once you've spent the time, you are able to become from literally having $1 in your account to having $1 million in your account. And I'm a prime example of that. I didn't have rich parents. I'm from South Africa first, and I came from obviously having nothing. I didn't get pocket money. I didn't do that. I was working. My first job was when I was 14. I worked at the pet shop up the road, to get, it was literally 50 Rand a day, and Rand to dollars, that's like $3. So that's $3 a day. That's what I worked on as pocket money. And, so I had to try and make that work. And at the end of the day, you appreciate money so much more when you're coming from, where I've come from, and then learning what to do with it. You don't want to just like how much you've worked to get just $3. You've worked the whole day. It's like, okay, now it's ready. I'm not going to just buy a cold drink or a pizza or a chocolate. Like I worked the whole day for this, and just to get a quick 2 seconds of satisfaction, I was never that person. So I really used my money wisely. And if I can bring this across to everybody, that you can work towards retiring at 30, 40 years old, it's in your hands. You just need to be smarter about what you do.
But I think there's two things. Like number one, like if you, even with Warfi, let's say you make $200, cash that out, that $200 is essentially stopped working for you.
Yeah.
That's one option, sure. Or you can earn money, like so you invest money, you earn money. Now that money earns you more money the next month. Like if you can get your money to earn more money consistently, that's how the game's won for sure. But back to the compounding thing, like it goes both ways, because I have people, even family members, that we're going to compound to the moon. Like, oh, I'll stop compounding when I get to $1,000 a day, $500 a day, or whatever it might be. And that day never came, and they lost all their money because they didn't take a profit. So there's a balance. And I don't think either me or Jason can tell anybody what that balance is. You just got to have enough like self-awareness and the right mindset to know dude, like, where's my break even? What's my risk tolerance? Like, is this expendable capital? Is it not? Like, there's a lot that goes into it for sure.
Yeah, I think a nice thing that we've done, and that's why we kept it so simple to Warfi. There's only three options. We're not trying to overcomplicate things. So you can either compound your earnings every month, you can withdraw with your earnings every month, or you can 50/50. And I love that option because whatever you've invested, yes, take profits. You need to get that money back. Let it work for you, all right? But don't now take that 50% that you're getting back and now go blow it on chocolates. I'm going to carry on with the chocolate. The 50/50 option is great because, first of all, you're growing your position, all right? So let's say you invested $1,000, okay? And you want to get to a point where that $1,000, right, is now paying you want to get to a point where you're making $100. But at the same time, you want it to still be growing because you don't want to just be taking that out. So that's why we love that 50/50 option. Compound for your first 6 months, 12 months, whatever the case might be. I normally tell people, for the first 3 months, take your profits every month. Make sure, okay, I've been getting my profits every month. The next 3 months, compound every single month. The next 3 months, okay, brilliant, working perfectly. And then what I like to say is, after 6 months of compounding, you literally put it on a 50/50 option. And the reason for that is that you could take that money and diversify. That's what every rich person in the world does. Okay, I've got a portfolio. This month I made $1 million. I'm putting 200,000 into gold, 200,000 into property, real estate, 200,000 into precious stones, whatever the case might be, they diversify. And that's why we've put that 50/50 option there, so that your position can grow. Yes, this can be something that, creates you generational wealth long term, but it's also something where you're actually taking money back, you're earning from your original investment. And that's very important. So that's what I love about Warfi and how simple it is. And it's a game changer where, people from not crypto are really seeing life-changing rewards because they're used to, like you say, in real estate, where I can get up to 10% a year. We're doing that almost up to 10% a month sometimes. So at the end of the day, I want people to take profit and learn from our system. So the 50/50 option is great. Compound, yes, for a while. Everybody loves doing it. Like I just gave you the number, 79% of our people are compounding as we speak. But at the end of the day, we do encourage people to take profit. So the 50/50 option is great. Grow your position that you can at least off that 50% still get you where you want to make. I want to make $1,000 a day. Great. But don't compound until oblivion and then anything, the world could blow up tomorrow. So get there by also taking money out. And 50/50 option is always great. Put 50% of your rewards back in, take 50% of your rewards and make your life.
I couldn't agree more. I think that's really well said, man. Is there anything like new and exciting coming with Warfi? Like, are you guys trying to take it anywhere different, or it's working, people love it, like we want to keep it out? Is like, what's like the long-term gig for you guys?
So there's another product we're releasing. Right now, Warfi is being solely based around just USD, right? And we've gone from Binance in the beginning, and we're on the Polygon network right now just because of safety. What we do is, you put in your $1,000 USD, and we earn you USD every month. But a lot of people are getting into crypto now smarter, and they want to be building their bag, but they don't want to go every single month and, okay, I'm buying $100 of Bitcoin, $100 of XRP, $100 of Ethereum, $100 of. So we've come up with a product where you're going to be able to get from 20 to 26% APY, all right? And you can build your own portfolio. So it's like a custom ETF for crypto, all right? Basically, you build your own bag. So let's say you're somebody, you've heard about Bitcoin, you've heard it's really good, you've heard about Ethereum, you've heard about XRP. There we go. Okay, there's many other coins, but let's say you've heard about these three and you want to build your bags, all right? So you choose, obviously, okay, I'm going to invest $1,000 and I'm earning 26%, for the year. But what we do is we pay people out in physical Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. And you build your bags and keep them for the long term. So it's an amazing product, especially for people looking to just build their bags for the long term. That's a game changer. It'll probably be released at the end of next month. That's also a little bit lower than, yes, when we do it Warfi, right? But it's also a double-edged sword because you tell somebody that's been in real estate for 30 years, hey, I can make you up to even just 5% a month. They're going to be like, stop lying to me. I've been making 10% for the last 30 years. I'm a millionaire. I'm happy. Go away. This is a little bit more believable to me. 20 to 26% for the year. They're like, okay, that. sounds better than what I'm doing, I'm interested. It's not just, oh, that, it's too good to be true. So it's a product that I believe will help drive adoption because of obviously building their badge with all these different coins. You can also just build it in USD as well. But it's also a little bit lower, that it makes it a little bit more of a step. Because, I mean, if you think normal real estate, normal world, normal investments, crypto up here, this is a little bit in between that people can obviously get a step. So it helps adoption, I believe, to get people more into obviously crypto and what it does. So it's a cool product that we're designing, but I think that'll be the last product. Warfi will say what it is. We've got a couple other companies that we're doing some revolutionary things that not the topic for, but Warfi is working. It's going to say what it is. Yes, we're offering another product to actually pay people out in different coins, but it's essentially still being driven by Warfi and our Warbots, our trading algorithms that we run, because that's what Warfi is. We obviously have devised great trading algorithms that using AI, as well as obviously our algorithms that we've been designing over the last 3.5 years. And they've been actively running and creating profits for the last 19 months, almost 20 months. So these are what essentially we do. And we do some manual trades with that, because sometimes even with the parameters we set in a bot, we can still set it up because we know macroeconomics, we understand sentiment. AI will never understand emotion as well as we can on a split second. So at the end of the day, we do step in every now and then, and we can actively open or close a trade, or we get in, but we're watching these bots, we're watching the markets 24/7, and we are basically trading the market. And that's what obviously is generating real revenue for our clients.
I wanted to touch on one thing, like, so 20 to 25, 20, whatever the APY was. Like, yes, that is true unless Bitcoin doubles, or unless it could be significantly more than that. And that's what a lot of people have done, is they built up a store of value with whatever their crypto of choice is. And they do that. They DCA or whatever. And then, the bull run happens and they're like, oh my gosh. So it could be...
We can just be seen in a better way. I think we can explain it in a better way. Specifically speaking to, your guys in real estate. Imagine buying a property, right? The property's value will go up by 10%, okay? So now what I'm telling you is buy this property brick by brick each month. So you bought this brick for $2, but in a year's time, it's worth $2. It could be worth $3 in 2 years from now. It could be worth $5. That's what Bitcoin is. Same as what you said. You're building up, obviously, your bags for the bull run. And that's what we're doing with this product. And it's the same as obviously any real estate person, why they buy a property, because the value will eventually go up, right? And they obviously put their money into obviously property, and their value of their money goes up. And we're doing the same thing. You're just buying portions of it and not the whole house straight away. And that's what's so nice about crypto, like buying a store of value in chunks.
Yeah.
That's what's amazing about it.
I think that's brilliant, man. What advice, I got to let you go here in a minute, but what advice, I always ask people this, like, what advice would you give somebody? I'll ask it two ways. What advice would you give somebody that's considering Warfi? And then what advice would you give to somebody that's just new to the space, like they're just starting out?
So somebody starting with Warfi, all right, I would, there's two types of investors. There's somebody that wants to just invest. No, I'll come look once a month on my investments. A blind type of, I've done my research. Okay, cool. Let's see the numbers at the end of each month. Those people are going to love what we do, okay? And because obviously we've been around for 19 months, they're going to see the obviously monthly chart. They're going to love it. Boom, I'm making money. And there's the other type of investor that they're in the chat 24/7. It's their life. They're chatting. They're asking questions, they're doing this. And we've built up a Discord in the community, of a couple thousand people, and people love that as well. So there's two different types. And what the advice I would give to somebody new is you can be both those people. But at first, I think you would want to be somebody that is doing their research. And that means getting into the chat, chatting to other people, hearing the stories. So you can just be going off, doing your research. Yes, you've been around here for 19 months. So that almost gives you the same, obviously, clarity and safety that you're looking for. So you don't have to be that person. But I would say anybody new, go look at Warfi on YouTube. Go check the last YouTube video from a year ago, from where we were to where we are today. That'll give you the trust. It's the faces are obviously all here. There's nobody speaking behind a mask. But do your research. Go firstly, read our white paper. Read what we have done. Read where we've come from. Read how we do what we do, why we've been successful, where 99% of other projects have failed. Go ask the questions. This is the first project where I'm somebody where I lead the project, but you'll, as a normal investor, be able to speak to me at 24/7. My direct DMs are open. If you've got questions and you don't want to be speaking to, in a chat room full of 2,000 people, directly message me in the Discord. It's not an issue. But definitely, anybody new, please do your research. please, before you just blindly invest, especially if you're a big investor. I've got a really big investors. I've got people that have put $400,000. The last person just put in $700,000 straight to me. If you're somebody like that, talk to me directly. Right? Let me educate you on the best way. I've seen somebody lose $100,000 because of sending USDC from 2 different networks that don't accept USDC. And you go from one chain to the next, your money's just gone. That's how easy it is. It's so easy to lose your money in this space. And that's nobody's fault. That's not a scam. That's just 2 networks that do not obviously connect with each other, and you're sending over the wrong stuff. So anybody that's from the real world, from real estate, that new to the space, if you're thinking of investing, big sorts of money, speak to me directly. Even if you're only wanting to start off with $100, that's our minimum. We're very small. You can start with $100. You don't have to even start off with $10. So if you're big or small, but specifically because I feel for the guys that have worked their lives away, they've saved this money, and now they want to put a lot of money into something, speak to people first. And you could speak to me directly. I've got a lot of knowledge. I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm more than happy to help anybody. Doesn't matter. So that's what I would say to obviously anybody who's new to investing. And then anybody that's been around the block, that knows the things to look for. Warfi's got that all taken care of. What I've been telling everybody to do is newcomers, the people that have been around a long time would know to do that. And then I don't have to say anything because the proof is in the pudding for what we've been doing over the last 19 months.
So, guys, we're going to put the links for Warfi in the chat for you guys so that everybody has them. Again, I've been in this project for a while. I've had multiple conversations with Jason. He's been gracious enough to take time out of his schedule to have those conversations with me, and then obviously doing this. But check it out, see if it's a good fit for you. Jason, I love what you guys are doing. I love the ability to compound. I love the education factor that you're doing. So greatly appreciate it. Guys, make sure you go thank Jason.
And I just want to say, this is not just about Warfi. I want to also say thanks to Jordan. Jordan has helped me a lot when it comes to real estate. There's been a couple of things, in South Africa, the real estate industry here is so much different to the United States, and, I've learned a lot from Jordan, and, we've been talking a lot in the background as well about doing something together, which is obviously a great opportunity because that's what also has made, me so successful is I understand my weaknesses, and I'm going to bring in the people that are experts in that. So my trading team, I would rather spend more money to find the expert in that field. Everybody that works for me is at the top of it. And at the end of the day, if I have a weakness, I'm not going to pretend I know what to do. I'm going to try and go, look, no, I'll bring in the best people for the job. And when I've been speaking to Jordan, and he's obviously, you guys have got an amazing community. You've got a huge community when it comes to real estate. And that's why I've loved this whole thing about being digital, using obviously crypto, but backing it with real world investment like real estate. And that's something that we've been looking into. And that will be quite interesting to have those conversations a little bit further down the line. But I'm definitely excited for those conversations. So thank you to Jordan and the expertise he's given me when it comes to real estate. It's definitely been a help.
Love it, man. Greatly appreciate it. Jason, we'll talk again soon. Thanks for your time today, and see you soon, buddy.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys. And yeah, we'll chat again.
Thanks, brother.